I came to these mountains in search of something specific. What I found was something bigger, something more valuable. A broader story has been unfolding this last year, and it's time for me to start sharing it. This journey marks the closing of a chapter and the start of the next. Something about Marakele is calling me back. I felt like there was something to be found there. Maybe it's the lions, maybe it's something else. I have returned to Marakele National Park. I am so happy to see these mountains again. Feels like meeting an old friend. 6 months ago I came here for the very first time and I was just blown away. And a few things come to mind when I think back to that trip. Close-up, intimate encounters with large mammals like rhinos, elephants, buffalo, a monkey stealing a banana from me, lions not being found. I remember spending a lot of time following lion tracks and feeling like they were just right there, but I could not find them. So close, yet so far. So that's in the back of my mind this time round. I do also remember it being a lot drier and more open because it was the end of the dry season back then. This time round, we are at the end of the rainy season. So game viewing might be a little bit more difficult. I'm about to arrive at Klopi Camp. I'm going to be staying there for 3 nights. Super grateful to be here. Let's see what the next few days have in store for us. For it all to make sense, I need to start from the beginning. 1 year ago, in April 2023. I'll just call it a dream for the purpose of this video. A really vivid dream, like as real as you can get. It started with me being surrounded by these tall blades of grass, these flowers just kind of dotted in between them, some leaves as well, and it felt like home. I didn't know what I was. I had no real sense of self. I felt this breeze from the wind just kind of blowing through what felt like my eyelashes. I was a butterfly, a really beautiful butterfly that had just come out of its cocoon. And those eyelashes were in fact my antennae, which were unfurling. And as they slowly unfold, I was able to sense the world around me and kind of perceive things. So yeah, even though I didn't realize that I was a butterfly at the time, I just instinctively started moving my wings. And I couldn't see myself or see them or know what they were, but I was moving these wings and I could feel the air being pushed up and down as I moved them. And eventually that started propelling me through the air, and I was just slowly and softly bouncing and floating through the air, just like a feather. It was just so easy and effortless. So I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. The first afternoon has been quiet. It's been very quiet. It's so dense. It's very, very green and lush. I'm going to have to really get dialed in. But having said all of that, there are still 3 days to go here. So there's still plenty of time. I wasn't completely truthful today. Those lions are not at the back of my mind. They're right at the front. They have been for days now. I need to be totally honest with myself. I've returned to do what I couldn't do last time. To say otherwise would only be to protect myself from failure. The funny thing about that is that failure does not exist. It's a made-up concept. Lions don't fail. They only learn, then move forward. Why should it not be the same for me or anyone? So here's a cool example of a recently used rhino midden. As you can see, there's some drag marks. That will be most likely the hind legs of a male rhino. He'll use the same spots over and over again, wipe his legs through there as well. And what that does is just spread the scent around. And as he's walking along through his territory, he'll be kind of leaving that scent wherever he walks. So they know kind of like what's going on in the territory, who's been here recently, was it a male, was it a female. Pretty cool points of communication and information. I found that after I stopped guiding a few years back, I very quickly lost a bit of knowledge. It's kind of like languages. If you aren't practicing and speaking a language, then that fluency just goes right out the window. So please bear with me. So I've been out for over an hour now and I have not seen a single mammal. I've seen some fresh signs. You know what, I've been so fortunate, super lucky with sightings recently in places like Kruger National Park, Pilanesberg, Mapungubwe. So this is kind of just bringing me back down to earth. I still had no idea that I was in fact a butterfly and that I was really beautiful and colorful, but the feeling of wanting to hide my antenna and myself just in general made me feel kind of heavy at times and maybe even slowed me down in between this feeling of real lightness. So I continued flying for a while, and out of nowhere, I was taken. A bird had caught me mid-air, and everything just went black. So we're getting closer to Lenong viewpoint. Quite a lot of cloud cover has come over the mountains. I don't know what's happening this morning, guys. It's just not really working out. It's now 8 o'clock, been out for 2 hours. Saw the klipspringer, some fork-tailed drongos, which I could not film. I mean, that's just cloud. Maybe we'll find a rock dassie or something. The bird that had caught me was a lilac-breasted roller. One of the most well-known and iconic, colorful birds of Africa. It wasn't gory or painful, and I wasn't upset or scared about this situation at all. There was nothing else I could do. It felt like it was for the greater good of everything involved, even though I was gonna get eaten by a bird. And I had to accept that it was the end of my life as a butterfly. Although I was now eaten by the roller, I still existed, and I was able to see now that I was in fact a butterfly. I had perspective. This period of reflection was like just really calm, peaceful and enlightening. But I was just kind of, I guess, in this void while looking back on what had happened. Those herons and egrets are catching all the fish today. The only thing I'm catching is a mild sunburn. Game of patience and perseverance. That's what this is. I would really just love to see a herd of impalas, a kudu bull or something. I've kind of lost sight of even looking for lions because I just would love to see anything at this point. Champagne problems, right? Champagne problems. The scenery here definitely helps. This void that I was in was the end of a life cycle. And in the context of this whole dream, only the end of chapter 1. The first of at least 5 chapters. And now that this chapter is closed, I'm able to see exactly what's transpired. And that's the story I'm sharing now. I've just realized this recently, but this dream is in fact a map of what was going to happen in my life. But it gave me just enough to know how to navigate through it, but with not that many details, so I didn't know what was going to happen next. It had to be lived and experienced in my real human life for it to be fully understood. Pretty sure I just heard something snorting to my left. Definitely worth investigating. I mean, this is what I'm looking at. Could have been a rhino, could have been a zebra, could have been anything, but I think that kind of gives you an example of what the last couple of days have been like. And again, I'm not trying to whine and complain, but it really has been difficult. Whatever it is, it's big and it's in water. Still hearing something. Oh, it's a rhino. I can just see its grey body through the bushes. It's not even worth filming. I think it's more than one, but it's freaked out now because it couldn't see what we were. So I think it's feeling threatened, which means we will be leaving. What that also shows us, or tells us, is that there are sources of water all over the place that we aren't even aware of. Hey, I'm the one who chose to come here at this time of the year, but we wanted to find out what the difference would be, right? And we are finding out the hard way. Maybe that is a turning point. No, don't get ahead of yourself, Byron. Just relax. That was definitely one of the larger white rhino bulls you'll ever see. And he didn't feed once for the 5-10 minutes that we were with him, which suggests that he's on a territorial patrol, which also might explain why he was a little bit extra on edge. In the wilderness, there's no such thing as a bad day. But some days do require more patience than others. Then, all it takes is one moment to make it memorable. But it's not really all about that one moment. It's everything leading up to it that gives it meaning. The way it unfolds feels a lot more important than the final picture. I woke up to a hyena whooping to the west and a lion roaring from the north, but very far north. Hopes are not very high. Apart from that, I would really love to spend some time with elephants today. Just putting that out there, Marakele. Just putting that out there. And it would be nice to head back up to the viewpoint and actually have a view. There's not as many clouds this morning. So what that hyena was doing there when it was walking over the grass with its tail up is called pasting. So hyenas have this gland very close to their backside, and they'll walk over a long blade of grass and just release this little paste that comes out that gland onto that blade of grass. And any other hyena that walks through the area will instantly smell that paste, and it will be able to tell exactly which individual is responsible for that, what gender that is, which clan it comes from. So spotted hyenas can use this as a form of chemical communication. As you can probably imagine, it does not smell very nice at all. So on the very first afternoon here, I came across 3 zebras in this exact same area, and one was very pregnant. Now I'm in the same area, I've got these 3 zebras, and there's a tiny little zebra foal with one of them. At least we got a bit of a view today. This journey to Marakele has been that period of calm reflection, a peaceful void amongst those mountains before the next chapter begins. This egret here just does not stop fishing all day long. Kind of like reminds me of what we've been trying to do, trying to find animals here. It's been strange, eh? It's been strange. And I'm just kind of wondering what the lesson is. There has to be some kind of lesson here for me. Maybe indirectly for you as well, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, at this point I'm not too phased, but we might as well give it a final bash. A few days after I got back from Marakele, it all clicked. Whoops. Sharing the beauty of nature with the world through these videos has felt like coming out of that cocoon.
And so the journey begins.
Stepping into the unknown and finding a home. The unfurling of new tools to feel the world from new perspectives. Floating through the wild with the weight of fears and negative beliefs, eventually leading to darkness. Darkness from which the light could be seen. Here's to the next chapter, one where we search for more than just wildlife. It's time to look deeper into the human-nature connection, to remember what we have forgotten. Mother Nature is here to help us, and I want to share her wisdom with you. I am now the roller.